Hello, welcome. Hello, hello. Hi, Heidi. It's nice to see your face. Oh my God, thank you for having your camera on. I'm glad somebody does. Guys, feel free to have your cameras on, even if you're multitasking and you like put your camera up somewhere. I'm totally down for that. But also, if it's a possibility to have a notepad and a pen and paper tonight, I think that's going to be really valuable and definitely help you get the most out of the meeting tonight because there's going to be a lot of information given out and you're going to want to write shit down. So if you can write shit down, whether that's in your phone notes or on a pen and paper or with whatever you got, maybe it's a napkin and a pen in your car, then write your stuff down. Let me know in the chat if you guys have a notebook ready. Becky has a notebook ready. Yes, she does. Becky doesn't fuck around. Hello, Marina's got her notebook. Let's go. Welcome. I didn't know that we invited Buddy the Elf to Zoom, but we did.
I didn't realize it actually made my name that too. I
Did
thought
it?
just
That's
my
funny.
registration name would be that. Oh my gosh.
You're so
Funny.
funny.
Oh
That's
man,
the
that's
best.
my Starbucks name too, is Buddy the Elf.
It is. It says that on all our Starbucks cups. You're
I know
so
somebody messaged me the other day and they're like, "Oh my gosh, what is this drink?" And so I was like, "Oh, that's actually my Starbucks name. The drink, it's my husband's drink." And she's like, "I am so glad I asked because I would have been so embarrassed to go to Starbucks and be like, 'Can I get the Buddy the Elf?'" And I was like, "Well, I'm glad you asked too cuz that could have been embarrassing."
would have been so embarrassing and also hilarious.
Right?
Oh my gosh, that's gold. Hello, welcome everybody. Hi, Danny. Thanks for having your camera on. I appreciate it. Hi, Terry. Donna, welcome.
Sorry,
Okay.
I'm in the massage bed, so I'll mute myself.
I love that. That's okay. We're gonna get started basically right away, and then you guys will have lots of time to like chat and ask questions, and then we'll do a bit of a Q&A at the end. So yeah, I'm really excited. Welcome to the Break Free from Binging Masterclass. We have got a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to dive into. But first I want to talk a little bit about who we are. So hi, we're Authentically Fit. Myself is here tonight, as well as our head coach, Buddy the Elf, also known as Coach Britt. We also have another business partner who's Coach Casey, who is my mom, who is not here right now, but might be joining us at some point this evening. And so at Authentically Fit, our big mission is really just to like end diet culture and stop the cycle of being on track and off track constantly, and fitness just being something that is only achievable in short chunks of time because it like takes over your whole entire life, and turn it into a lifestyle, something that you can really maintain in the long term, and something that not only helps you to achieve your fitness goals, but know how to maintain those easily and effortlessly for the rest of your life, because it shouldn't be something that's difficult, and it shouldn't be something that involves not having tacos and margaritas, because those things are very important. So we want to make sure that everything is integrated, and we're going to talk a lot about binge eating tonight. Coach Brittany, do you want to introduce yourself quickly before we do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I can
Please.
do that. Hopefully you guys can hear me. My sound is really bad on my end. So I'm gonna figure that out. That's why I'm like really up close. Okay, so my name is Coach Brittany. I have been with Authentically Fit now for probably almost 5 years, I think. 4.5, 5 years, something like that. Um, and I am a personal trainer as well as a nutritionist. If you guys do not know me already, I am right now currently on my own weight loss journey. I am down about 156 pounds. I haven't weighed myself in probably the last month or so. So I could be definitely at more than that. I have two children. I have a 14-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son. My husband and I own a wrestling company in Nanaimo, Vancouver Island Pro Wrestling, as well as we have a wrestling school on our property. And yeah, that's about it. My mission is to help plus size women feel confident, sexy, get themselves back, because I know what it's like to be 400 pounds. I also know what it's like to be a fit 150-pound woman that knows my way around the gym. But like I said, I also know how to be, I also have been, and not even that long ago, a 400-pound girl that couldn't even tie my own shoes. So I do feel like I've kind of had the everything, the in between. So, yeah, my goal is just to empower plus size women to get their lives back and get fit.
I love it. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
And I want to hear intros from everybody, but I don't want to take everyone's time up. So if you guys can introduce yourselves in the chat, like everybody, that would be wicked. Tell us where you're from. Tell us a little bit about your family, especially if we don't know you guys. I would absolutely love to hear a little bit about everybody here in the chat and kind of why you're excited for this masterclass and why you signed up for this masterclass. And we can make sure that we cover absolutely everything. Okay, let's get into all of the good stuff. All right, so here's what you need to know. Have a notebook. Everything we're going to go through is going to be about 30 to 45 minutes, probably closer to 45. And then we'll have a Q&A at the end. That'll be about 15 minutes. So probably an hour total. Write your questions in the chat as they come up. We'll make sure that we address all of the questions in the chat. And then if you can, just stay muted to so we don't have a bunch of extra background noise. And then anytime that you have questions, drop them in the chat. And then at the end, everybody will be able to unmute and we can kind of just have like an open discussion and talk about shit. Okay, so there's two reasons why you might be binge eating, okay? And both of these two reasons stem into many other reasons, as I'm sure you can already guess, but the two kind of, I guess, umbrella reasons you could say why we binge eat in general is because of, one, our habits, and two, our mindset, okay? So your habits is on a simple level, okay? This is you're not doing the right things. And because you're not doing the right things, your body has nutritional deficiencies and nutritional gaps, and you're basically in starvation mode. And what that's doing is causing you to binge eat, okay? So habits like not eating breakfast at all or not eating anything throughout the day, skipping breakfast, skipping lunch. Okay, those are habits that are going to cause us to potentially binge eat in the evening. Not feeling hungry all day long, and then all of a sudden we're like starving at nighttime. So if you're one of those people that's like, well, I can't eat in the day because I'm just not hungry, and then all of a sudden in the evening you're fucking starving and you could just eat everything in sight. Okay, that's another habit that can cause us to be binge eating. Going from not hungry at all to like starving super, super quickly, that's a sign that we're just not fueling our body properly and that we're not eating enough nutrients during the day, okay? Maybe you are eating enough calories during the day, but your calories aren't coming from the right sources. So if you're eating just like empty muffins and like random shit during the day, granola bars and a bunch of stuff that doesn't involve any protein, doesn't involve any fiber, doesn't involve any real nutrients, then you're not filling any of those nutritional gaps, and it's going to cause us to still be super hungry later in the day, even if maybe you've been eating all day, right? But if we're eating things that are spiking our blood sugar level, that's going to increase our cravings. And when we have more cravings, then it's going to make it easier for us to binge eat, especially later in the day, because those cravings always go up in the evening time, right? How many of you guys have experienced that where you don't eat all day long and then in the evening, all of a sudden you're fucking starving and you feel like you could eat everything in sight? Yeah. Okay, and then not prioritizing protein is a big one. Not prioritizing protein, not prioritizing fiber, right? So again, maybe you're eating and you're eating lots of food all day long, but you're not eating enough protein and you're not eating enough fiber, okay? So if this is where you are, if you feel like it's a habits problem, okay, and it's not a mindset problem, it's not a beliefs problem, which is what we're going to get into next, which is kind of like the deep shit, which is kind of like the nitty gritty. If it's a habits problem, the good news is you can fix it. Fix your fucking habits, and it'll be a lot easier to not binge eat. If you start eating consistently during the day, then you're not going to have your cravings be spiked huge at nighttime, and then you're not going to overeat at nighttime, right? And it might be that conversation of, well, I'm not hungry during the day. Okay, so start very small and slowly increase it, right? Maybe you just start by having a little tiny yogurt in the morning, and then you have like a little snack plate at lunch, right? And then later on, you add something else in the middle there, and then you slowly increase it, and then maybe eventually you're having one egg and one piece of toast for breakfast, which is fantastic, and then maybe you're having that little snack plate afterwards, and then maybe for lunch you're managing to have a sandwich or even half a sandwich, right? Just because we're not meal prepping chicken and broccoli and rice and all of these like things that we think are ideal that we need to have in order to be on our fitness journey doesn't mean we can't just be doing what we can, right? And so just like eating those little meals, whatever the fuck that is, and starting from there, right? So if it's a habits thing, then fix the habits. So solution, eat 25 to 30 grams of protein with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? Have 2 snacks in between if you can. And if you can get 15 grams of protein-ish per snack, then that's going to be even more ideal. And then drink your freaking water, at least 3 liters of water per day consistently, and do it for more than a week, because it takes at least 5 to 7 days for your body to actually get hydrated. So if you just start drinking your water, all it's going to do for the first 5 to 7 days is make you feel like you have to pee all of the freaking time, right? So then we need to start to just keep fucking going and keep drinking your water so that your body can actually process that water and say, all right, here's what I need to do with this water. And then it starts to increase your energy level, starts to make you feel better, starts to actually properly work for you and help support your weight loss journey, help support your body in building muscle, and help support you in just feeling your overall best. Because when you're feeling your best, then you're going to show up for your workouts, then you're going to show up to be able to meal prep for yourself, to eat your meals. All of that starts with having the energy and the mental capacity to do that, and that starts by being fucking hydrated. So drink the water, okay? And then focusing on higher fiber carbohydrates to keep you fuller for longer. So making sure that all your carbs in the day aren't coming from just like bread and muffins and pastries and shit, and you're also getting some of your carbohydrates from vegetables and fruit and yams and quinoa and whole grain oats, and you know, getting those higher fiber carbohydrates that are going to help keep you fuller for longer, help balance out your blood sugar levels, which also helps balance out our hormones, right? So if that's where you're at and you feel like, well, maybe I'm just being lazy and I'm skipping breakfast and lunch, and that's why I'm binge eating at night, then that's probably the most common reason why I would see that people end up binge eating in the evening, is just simply because they're not eating in the daytime. Right. And so if that's where you're at, then just like start with making small meals. Start with being like, I need to have a little breakfast and a little lunch for now, and then I'll slowly increase that as I go. And as you slowly increase the amount of food that you have during the day, you're going to slowly decrease the amount of shit food that you're eating in the evening time. And it doesn't have to be an all or nothing thing. It doesn't have to be you're not eating any treats in the evening, or you're not eating any cereal in the evening, or whatever it is the fuck that you're going for. But if you can go for a bowl of cereal and couple mini chocolate bars or whatever, rather than, or a couple cookies rather than a box of cookies, or a bowl of ice cream rather than a tub of ice cream, or whatever the situation is, then we can find that balance. Because realistically, you can be having all of those treats, right? Whether it's ice cream, whether it's cookies, whatever it is, if you're having a realistic portion size, you can have it every single day, and you can consistently lose weight at the same time. You can consistently be healthy at the same time, right? That's what the 80-20 rule is. It's every single day. Ideally, 80% of your food comes from whole foods, healthy foods, and 20% of your food comes from whatever the fuck you want. And so it might be cookies, and it might be cakes, and you never know what it might be. But as long as it's in a controlled portion size, it's not going to affect us. Restricting always leads to binging, right? So as soon as we tell ourselves you can't have something, human beings want what we can't have, right? So we're like, you can't have these cookies, you can't have this chocolate, you know, whatever. And it might last for a short period of time. It might even last for a few weeks at a time. But eventually, whatever it is that we told ourselves that we can't have, once we end up having it, we are like, oh my God, I haven't had this for so long. I've been restricted for so long. And then we end up going overboard. And then that's when we end up binging. And then that's when the guilt comes in. And then we start restricting ourselves again. And then it becomes a whole entire cycle. Right? Okay, so how many of you guys feel like this is like where you're at? You're like, I'm just literally not eating enough food during the day, and that's probably what's causing me to binge at nighttime.
You got a couple comments coming in. Becky says, I feel like I'm a stress eater. And Ruth
Hey.
is agreeing with her.
Yeah, we'll talk about that soon. So that might be more along the mindset side. For sure. Okay, so if you eat enough in the day and enough of the right foods, right? You're getting the protein in there, you're getting the fiber in there, you're getting the veggies in there, you're getting the nutrients in there. You're like, yeah, I eat enough during the day, but I'm still overeating at nighttime, or I'm overeating in certain situations, like Becky said. Oh, I'm sorry. I want to be on video. She wanted to be a video star. So if that's the case, then it's going to be more mindset related, which is what we're going to talk about next. So I'm glad you said stress, because I wasn't even thinking about stress, but that's perfect, and we'll get into that too. The end. Okay. Okay. And then another thing to mention before we move on is that we have to make sure that we're not just eating all of our protein or all of our nutrients at one time, right? Because our body doesn't store protein, right? And your stomach empties every 4 to 5 hours. So if you're eating all of your protein in the early morning and then you're not eating any all day long, that could be another reason for binge eating all. So you might be like, well, I'm hitting my macros in my breakfast and my lunch, but if there's a really big gap in there, that could be an issue as well. So maybe just having consistent protein going in could be something worth increasing before you write that off. Okay, good. You guys are eating well during the day. That makes me happy. And that also means we got some journal work to do. Okay, let's get into it. So second reason that we're overeating is because of our mindset, or more specifically, the beliefs that we have around food. Okay. So in order to understand any behavior or any emotion that we experience, like binge eating, we need to know what our unconscious targets are. So what are we trying to achieve unconsciously? Okay. Because every single human behavior has a positive intent of some kind. There's some sort of positive outcome that you're trying to reach by overeating. And obviously not consciously. You're probably thinking, well, I don't want to overeat. I'm not trying to achieve anything by overeating, but your subconscious mind thinks that something that you are doing, like, or that thinks that overeating is helping you achieve something. Okay. So all behavior, binge eating for this matter, has the intent to either provide something, prevent something, or protect someone. Probably yourself in this case. Binge eating can protect you from a lot of things. I know that sounds fucking crazy, but it can. Any behavior that you're stuck with can make you feel safe because it's what you're used to, which is your comfort zone. And your brain is wired to make you feel safe, right? Unfortunately, safe also keeps us stuck, right? So we stay safe, we stay suck, we suck. I guess we stay stuck because we stay safe, and we get trapped in this habits and these behaviors like binge eating because we're trying to stay exactly where we are, or not because we're trying to, but because our brain is trying to keep us exactly where we are and keep us safe. Okay, so does that make sense so far? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to talk about basic human needs. So there's 4 basic human needs that we all have to meet. Okay, every single human being in the world, no matter where you're born, no matter what your age is, no matter what your belief systems are, no matter what your race is, like, it doesn't matter. There's 4 human beliefs, or 4 basic human needs, sorry, that we all have. Okay, we all have a need for certainty. So we have to have some sort of like security in our life, some sort of sense of certainty, like that we're not going to explode at any minute, that like we have to know that we're safe, that we know that, like, I like to know that I have a roof over my head. I like to know that I have a bed to sleep in every night. I like to know that I'm safe in my relationship. You like to know that you're safe around your friends and your family, right? Overeating can make us feel safe from change. Overeating can meet a need for certainty because it can make us feel safe from other people's comments. It can make us feel safe from growing out of current friendships and relationships. It can make us feel safe from early morning workouts. It can make us feel safe from having to eat salads, right? So we all have a need for certainty. How are you meeting that need for certainty? Because if we're not meeting it in a positive way, we can be meeting it in a negative way, and we can be meeting it by binge eating. So certainty is the first one. We have to have a sense of security in order to feel like we have control over our lives, in order to feel like we're safe. Okay. The second one's uncertainty. Okay. So just as much as we need to feel certain, we also need to feel uncertain. Okay. So we don't want to know, like, if we knew exactly what was happening all the time and exactly what you were about to say to me next and exactly what was about to happen to me in 1 second from now and 1 minute from now and 5 minutes from now, life would be super fucking boring. That would be so boring, right? We have to have some sort of uncertainty. We all need different levels of uncertainty. That's why some people are like super crazy and chaotic and don't really plan everything out. And some people are like super to the point because they crave a lot more certainty. Some people crave a lot more uncertainty, right? So there's different amounts of how important these things are to you, basically based on like how you grew up and your beliefs and stuff like that. But we all need some sort of amount of uncertainty, right? Because if you were certain about what was going to happen to you all the time, when it was going to happen, where and with who, you'd be bored out of your fucking mind. So we have this need for uncertainty. Eating food, when you eat food in general, it shifts your emotional state. Okay? Anything, no matter what you put in your mouth, especially if it's something that's like sugary and like sweets or whatever, it shifts your emotional state. A bunch of blood rushes to your stomach and it makes you feel comfortable. It makes you feel safe. It also changes things because it's an instant change in your emotion. When you eat, you're instantly changing your emotions, right? So if you're eating when you're stressed out, that's it. Your body recognizes that as soon as you eat something, you instantly change your emotion. You instantly focus on the food. You instantly feel better. So we're avoiding the actual problem and instantly we're eating something, right? And it might not even necessarily, we might not even necessarily know it's a problem. It might be that we just get triggered by something and then all of a sudden you're eating something and you don't even necessarily know why, right? So then that's when we have to really think about, why am I eating this food right now? What just triggered me to start eating this food? What just like made me feel this way and made me run to the cupboard and start eating this food? So uncertainty, sorry, keywords are like surprise, unknown, fear, problems, and change in your emotional state. Okay. We have a need for certainty, uncertainty. Number 3 is significance. We all need to feel like our lives have some sort of meaning, like they've got some sort of importance. So this sounds, this like, this whole concept blew my mind when I first learned it, and literally helps you understand so much about people. So because we all have a need for significance, we all need to feel like we have meaning. We all need to feel like we're special in some way. We all need to feel like we stand out from the crowd. And I would say 80 to 90% of people meet their need for significance by having a significant problem and being so fucking significant in that problem and walking around talking about, I am so tired. That makes people significant. That meets their need for significance. I'm so broken. I'm so sore. I'm this, I'm that. Like, and I'm not saying you're not broken. I'm not saying you're not sore. I'm not saying you're not tired. I've got 3 kids and one of them still wakes me up 7 times a night. I'm not saying you're not tired. I am too. But the stories that we tell ourselves become our reality. And when we're meeting a need for significance, it becomes an addiction. And then you become addicted to the story. And when you're telling this story over and over again, likes attracting like, you're getting more of what you're putting out there. So you're putting more out there of, I'm broken, I'm sick, I'm this, I'm that, I can't do this, I can't do that. And you're getting more of this. And then we're wondering why nothing's going right. And we're wondering why nothing's working. Does that make sense? So oftentimes people meet their need for significance by staying stuck in a problem that they don't even want to have. And they don't even know that this is what they're doing. So be super fucking brutally honest with yourself and ask yourself, are there any, how would you say it? Like, any ways that you're meeting your need for significance by having a problem that you don't actually want to have, but you're continuing to have it because it's meeting a need for significance. Hi, Coach Casey. Do you want to add on that at all?
I probably do. Yeah, no, the 6 human needs are my base to my entire lifeline. But yeah, you're meeting your need for significance. And I think sometimes, I don't know if you're going into this in this workshop or not, I didn't pre-look at it, but self-sabotage, right? We meet our always having a problem, always creating a problem. So if you binge eat, you're going to create a problem of being overweight or whatever the binge eating has led to, has gotten you to, right? So I think it's definitely, I've never actually had this conversation with Karissa, so I've never actually looked at binge eating in relationship to the 6 human needs. And you're very right, significance. We meet that need by having problems. And overeating, it becomes a problem, and you are now significant because you're constantly trying to lose weight. If that's the story, if you find you're always telling your friends or your mom, or you're always talking to people about your weight and being overweight, and right, you're meeting that need, but at the same time, you're also creating the blueprint to your future, right? Because your brain is going to do exactly what is going to make you right about the stories you're telling yourself. So I think that's really neat. That's a new concept to me that I'm just processing right now, but you're very right, Karissa.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you. Glad you're here.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Definitely me. Okay. I'm glad you guys are relating. Good. Have a bad binge day. I try to make up for it by undereating the next day and it becomes a bad cycle. Yeah. Okay. That would honestly be one of my like biggest tips overall is just treat every day like its own. Like don't do anything today because of what happened yesterday. If you overate yesterday, that never means underate today. If you didn't work out yesterday, that never means do 2 workouts today. That is exactly what diet culture has taught us to do. So it's not your fault, first of all. Don't blame yourself for that. Diet culture has taught us that. It's taught us that we have to like hit all of our workouts in the week and do all of our this and all of that. And it's just absolute fucking bullshit because that's not real life. That's not reality. That's not life with kids. That's not life with a career. That's just not life at all. Right? Real life involves hiccups, it involves bumps in the roads, it involves days, and it might involve weeks where you miss your workouts, but that doesn't have to mean it involves days or weeks where you don't eat a healthy meal, right? Like just because you have a shitty breakfast doesn't mean you can't go to the gym later that day. Or just because you miss a workout in the morning doesn't mean you can't have a healthy lunch and dinner, right? And when we start adapting these habits of just like every day being its own, that's when we'll finally get off of this track of like, all the time feeling like I'm on and I'm off and I'm on and I'm off. And it just becomes a lifestyle because every day you just do the best that you can that day. What can I do today? Can I go for a workout today? Awesome. If I can, great. If I can't, doesn't matter. That doesn't make any difference with my nutrition. Either way, I know that I'm trying to get protein with every meal. If I can't get 30 grams of protein and I can get 10, cool. It's better than 0. Right? So it's just not trying to be perfect and rather adapting the principles that you know and just trying to utilize whatever ones you can wherever you can, if that makes sense. Because I think that there's a big misconception in what consistency looks like, and it's not like being perfect every single day. It's like some days we do all of the things, some days we do one thing, some days we do no things, and some days we do half the things. And as long as we're just doing something all of the time, then that's really what matters for sure.
That's big. Coach Brittany talked about that, I think, last week in her masterclass. Didn't she have that calendar? And consistency isn't about, you have all the check marks for like 20 days and then 10 days of nothing got done. You're better off to have like 4 check marks, 1 messed up day, 3 check marks, 3 messed up days, 2 check, right? That's consistency. That's a life. I've been working out for 38 fucking years. You think that I haven't missed 4 days here and there? I didn't fall off track.
Yeah.
I authentically work out. I work out. I love working out. Working out is who Casey is. But you better believe I missed 3 days in a row for no valid reason or for a valid reason. It doesn't matter. I didn't fall off track. I'm not consistent. Look at the 38 years and look at the calendar. If I had the 38 years, you'd say I'm fucking consistent, right?
Yeah, 100%. And when we think about that like big overall picture, it becomes a lot easier to be like one day here and there does not fucking matter at all. You just get on track or not. I guess I don't like to say on track and off track, but just do the best you can the next day with what you have that day, even if it's just a couple healthy meals. Okay, so human needs, we've got certainty, uncertainty, significance, and then love and connection. We all have a need to feel loved. And can food make you feel loved? Yes, it can. You might be meeting your need for food, love and connection by eating. If you used to eat certain foods at certain times in your life, you can actually become addicted to those foods because they remind you of certain times in your life. So I honestly, truly believe that I am like addicted to chocolate to this day because me and my Nana used to eat chocolate together when I was like a young kid, and we lived like right down the road from each other, and we were little besties, and I would always be running down the road to my Nana's house eating my chocolates with my Nana, and it was like all cutesy. And then she moved away and she's still alive, so like it's okay, but like she lives far away now and we don't eat chocolates together as often. And so it's like one of those things that I truly believe is like one of those connection pieces where I haven't fully let it go, and it's like the only like sugary sweet thing that I'm like really connected to. And yeah, I did some digging through this work that we're doing right now and through the journal questions that I'm going to give you guys at the end. And that's kind of how I was able to kind of shine that light. And it's like, when you're able to shine that light on that situation and be like, this is what the fuck is going on here, then that's when we're able to start to make changes and we're able to make steps towards fixing it, right? Because imagine if you're looking for something in a pitch black room and you can't even see anything, you're not going to have very much luck finding it, right? But when you turn on the light, then you have the ability to find the thing. Then you have the ability to switch the situation up, right? But you can't change anything unless you turn on the light. So that awareness is like turning on the light. It's like being aware of like, okay, here's what I need to do. So now I can start to work on it. So love and connection. If there was a happier time in your life or just like a happy time in your life that you ate a certain food all the time, you might subconsciously overindulge in that food as an attempt to feel the same love that you felt at the time when you were eating that food. Okay.
Association is huge.
Yeah.
And then there's a
Crazy
whole
shit.
process to disassociating. So that's great.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the 4 basic human needs that we all have to meet no matter what. We're meeting them all of the time. You're all always meeting a need for certainty, uncertainty, significance, and love and connection. Okay? Now, I want you to start to think about which ones of these basic human needs might you be meeting by binge eating? Could you be meeting a need for certainty because it's keeping you safe, because it's keeping you exactly where you are? Honestly, imagine what life would be like if you didn't binge eat. Would you start to lose a bunch of weight? If you really started to lose a bunch of weight, who would you be? Would you be the person that connects with the same friends that you have right now? I don't know. Would you be the person that um is able to accept the donuts at the office every day like you do right now? I don't know, right? Like it might look different and life might look different, and subconsciously that might scare the shit out of you enough to keep you doing the things that you're doing right now because you don't want your life to change as much as it would if you lost 100 pounds. Because that might mean you might need all new friends, and that might mean you need all new hobbies, and that might mean that you're not able to binge watch TV for 8 hours every fucking Saturday and Sunday. And that might mean that you now need to go hiking sometimes. And that might mean that you start to eat salads. And that might mean that you don't go to McDonald's 7 times a week. And all that shit might be fucking scary. And that might just be the reason why you're meeting a need for staying safe, for connection by overeating, right? Uncertainty. Are we meeting a need for uncertainty? Do we need to change things up? Are we eating because we're stressed and we want to feel different? Are we eating because this sounds fucked, but I used to binge eat to the point where I would just eat so much until I would throw up. And it was like uncertainty for me because this was at a time where I had recently stopped doing drugs. I was addicted to drugs for like 2 years before this. And then I started being addicted to food and binge eating. And at this point, I would just eat and eat and eat and eat as much as I could until I would puke. And it was almost like a game. It was almost like, how much can you eat without puking? And I would just go and I would go and I would go and I would like literally feel my food coming up like it was gonna like pour out of my mouth, and I would just eat as much as I possibly could and try and see, because I was meeting a need for uncertainty. I had nothing else going on in my life at that point. There was nothing exciting going on in my life. I was living in a fucking basement suite. I had nothing going on. I had recently stopped doing drugs, which helps you meet a need for uncertainty a lot more than food, right? And so I was trying to find a way to meet that need, and that was a way that I figured out how to meet it, and it took a long time to get out of that. But again, this is the work to help you. This is the work to help you do that. So are you meeting a need for uncertainty? Are you meeting a need for significance? Making you feel significant in your problems, being the person that always overeats, being the person that's always overweight, being the person that's always this, being the person that's always that. You always have sympathy, you always have an excuse. And it makes it really easy to kind of take that focus off of you not doing the fucking work and say, I have a problem, and that problem is what's keeping me here. I'm always tired, so I can't exercise, or I this and I can't exercise. And I've been guilty of this. I have a baby, so I can't wake up early in the morning. That's not fucking true. There's millions of people in the world that have babies and wake up early in the morning, right? Like it's just the stories that we tell ourselves. And whether or not you're ready to change that story, I don't know. I know I wasn't ready to change that story for a long time. And then loving connection. So are you meeting a need for loving connection? Like if eating certain foods reminds you of certain times in your life that made you feel loved. And also just like the fact that when you eat, especially like sweet, sugary foods, that blood rushes to your stomach and it's kind of like a feeling of comfort, which is kind of like a feeling of love and connection. Okay. So drop them in the chat, you guys. Certainty, uncertainty, significance, or love and connection. Which of those basic human needs do you feel that you are meeting by binge eating? It might be 1, it might be 2, it might be 3, it might be 4 of them. It could be multiples. Now we have 2 more human needs that we need to meet in order to live a happy and fulfilling life, which are growth and contribution. These ones we won't meet in negative ways. There's not really a way to meet them negatively. But if you like, in terms of the human needs that we need to meet in order to feel like our best selves, in order to, especially to fight the symptoms of anxiety and depression and to fight the feeling of, like you're not going anywhere, then we need to also be focusing on growth and contribution. We need to be meeting a need for growth, which means we need to be growing either spiritually, emotionally, financially, or physically in all areas of your life, right? So everything in the universe, it either grows or it dies, and there's not really anything stagnant, right? So if a business isn't growing, it's dying. If a relationship isn't growing, it's dying. If you're not growing, well, you get the point. So where can we start to fulfill a need for growth? Where can you start to learn something new? Where can you start to upgrade in that area? And then contribution is a need to grow so that we have something to give, right? So that we contribute to something that's bigger than ourselves, so we can contribute to some kind of a whole. And that might be just to contributing to your family, or contributing to like a school, or like just like contributing your time or your energy. It might not be money, you know what I mean? But contribution is like contributing to a whole, helping out with things that are outside of just yourself. So we all have the same human needs. The difference is what we believe that we must do in order to meet those needs. I'm going to say that again. We all have the same human needs. The difference is what we believe that we must do in order to meet those needs. We use certain behaviors like overeating to meet the needs if they're not being met in other positive and constructive ways. These needs need to be met. Okay, so if they're not being met positively, your subconscious mind will find a way to meet them negatively. And binge eating is a great way to meet all of our basic human needs very negatively. So why do we binge eat? We binge eat because at some level, we believe subconsciously or consciously that by doing this, that by overeating this food, by feeling the way that we do, by believing that we are stuck here, by experiencing this where we are right now, acting in this way, that we will meet at least one or more of those human needs. Now, everybody has different backgrounds, educations, rules that they were raised with, preferences, beliefs, all of that, but we're all hardwired with the same needs. And we have 4 survival needs. That's the certainty, uncertainty, significance, and love and connection. Those are survival needs. When a human feels that they can't meet one of them, they get desperate and they find a way to meet it. Does that make sense? Okay, so we can meet a need for certainty by overeating or undereating. It can make you feel safe from change, safe from other people's comments, safe from growing out of friendships, safe from early morning workouts, safe from kale salads. You can meet a need for uncertainty by eating food because it changes your emotional state, by unintentionally binging because you don't know what's going to happen. Will you puke? Will you ever stop eating? Nobody knows. You can meet your need for significance by having an unsolvable problem like binge eating because it makes us feel unique in our problems, right? Either being the skinny friend or being the fat friend, whether we want to be that friend or not, they both come with a perk, which is that you stand out and that you're significant in that problem. You can meet your need for loving connection by eating because if you used to eat certain foods where you felt happy at that time, you might subconsciously overindulge in those foods as an attempt to feel the same way that you felt at that time. Okay. So these are the journal questions for you to dig into. First of all, write down the 4 basic human needs: certainty, uncertainty, significance, and loving connection. And now what we need to do is figure out how to meet those needs in a positive way so that your subconscious mind isn't forced to meet them in a negative way. Okay, so the first question I want you to write down is which two of those 4 basic human needs are you meeting by binge eating? Which two? Okay, and then how? Second question is how. So, example, I'm meeting my need for uncertainty because my life is so boring that not knowing if I might gain 4 pounds or not overnight is probably the most exciting thing going on in my life right now. I reach my need for significance by always being the skinny friend or always being the fat friend. I don't like it, but it makes me stand out and it gives me a consistent problem to have, which also provides me with a sense of certainty. So then we can see how that is meeting a need for significance and a need for certainty. I meet my need for love and connection by overeating these specific foods because they remind me of this time in my life. And overeating also makes me not know if I'm ever actually going to lose weight, if I'm ever going to change, if I'm ever going to reach the goals that I want to reach, which helps make me feel safe, which helps make me meet my need for certainty. Which 2 needs are you meeting and why? And then the last question is, how can you meet these needs in a positive way? So what needs to happen in order for you to meet those needs in a positive way? What needs to happen in order for you to feel certainty? What do you need to do? What would help you feel more certainty in your life? Would it be being more organized? Would it be being more scheduled? Would it be getting your shit together when it comes to meal prep? What would give you more certainty? How could you meet your need for uncertainty in your life? Could you do more surprising things? Could you um um anything, what meets the need for uncertainty? Just like switching things up in general is a great way to meet your need for uncertainty. Anything that you're not used to, going new places, meeting new people, anything that you can do that's going to just kind of change things up from your normal routine, right? I like having something to look forward to is a great way to meet my need for uncertainty. And I find that when I have something to look forward to, it's like a girls' night out or a date night or whatever it might be. Maybe it's just a little event or whatever the thing might be. It helps me meet my need for uncertainty because I know that there's something coming up that's going to kind of switch things up and be off the usual day-to-day boring routine. Okay. How can you meet your need for significance, right? How can you be significant? Could you be significant in something else? Could you be significant in being the friend that doesn't have any problems? Maybe you could be significant in being the fit friend or the friend that's always so happy and positive, or you could be significant in dyeing your hair blue and being the blue-haired friend, or you could be significant in any area, right? And just finding that confidence within yourself to know that I am significantly Karissa Lee Scott, and that's fucking enough. And you don't need to be significant in anything other than that, or find something, get a bunch of tattoos. I don't know. That would be more positive than staying overweight, something that makes you feel good and significant. And then you can meet your need for love and connection, by getting a puppy or spending more time with your grandkids or not you, Casey, you're doing great. There might be some grandmas that need tips out there. You might need your need for love and connection by going on more dates, like, right? It's whatever it is find a way to meet the need for love and connection if that's where it's come in. Okay, now do the work, you guys. Do the freaking work. All I'm saying is do the work. And when I say do the work, what I mean is journal on these things and honestly spend the time by yourself thinking about this. Review the basic human needs. You can find them on Google, I'm sure, as well, but review the basic human needs. If you want me to send you a sheet that's got a review of the basic human needs, just say cheat sheet in the chat and I can send you a cheat sheet that's got the 4 human needs on it and a breakdown of them, if you feel that that would help you with your journaling. So that is everything. I'm going to post a replay of this on the free fitness community, of course. And then I want to tell you guys about something quickly before you take off. So do not take off because we are giving away an Aura ring. We're doing a 4-week fitness challenge and we're giving away an Aura ring. And I'm very excited, because it's so much different than every other challenge that we've ever done before, because it's not like in order to enter the challenge, you have to do all of the things. You don't have to track your food every day and do a workout every day and do a mindset activity every day. It's literally just that you have to do something every day for 30 days. And that something might be going for a walk. That something might be doing a stretch. That something might be, it could be literally anything that is helping you become a better version of yourself. Okay, so it's a 30-day challenge. Somebody is, or it's actually 28 days. Somebody is winning an Aura ring at the end of it. If you're not one of our clients already, then you get a workout plan with it. You get a nutrition coaching package with it, whatever that looks like. Maybe that's macros. Maybe that's just working on like certain meals and doing certain things with your nutrition. So that's going to look different for everybody, but it comes with nutrition coaching, which we'll do a one-on-one assessment to see what that looks like for you. And then it comes with access to our private Facebook community where we do Zooms like this every single week, where we've also got workshops that go on every single day, 5 days a week. And then you'll also have access to a coach who will be monitoring your progress the whole way through, making sure that you're reaching the goals that you've set out for yourself, making any changes necessary to your program, setting goals with you every single week, all of that good stuff. So if you want to get in on the 4-week challenge, it's called a fitness challenge. And the winner is going to be getting an Aura ring. So you can just write in the chat right now, write fitness in the chat, and I can make sure that I get you signed up, or you're welcome to send me a direct message, if you have any questions about it or anything like that. And, we'll go over everything. And, yeah, that's it. Coach Casey,
I have
anything you want to add?
Marina has a question.
I'm sorry, fighting so hard, I did not want to be rude at all.
That's okay.
So I was still kind of having an issue picking what one was mine. So, because it was going back between, so it's just to confirm, I don't know if this is stupid, but certainty and uncertainty are both 2, right? Like that's 1. And then the third one is significance and then love and connection.
Yep.
Okay, so I can't figure out whether I'm certainty or uncertainty, because when we were talking about it, I wrote down my 2 and I wrote how and I wrote love, because honestly, like that was really interesting when you made the point of the memories around food. So like I have so many happy memories and it all involves like birthday cake, food, treats, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and all that kind of stuff around like overindulging yourself. And so like, because I've never figured out, like I grew up like I was pretty lucky, like I don't have a lot of childhood trauma or anything like that. So I was like, I put that one as
Good.
happy, but then
Yeah.
I wrote certainty and I wrote preparation and organization. So I don't know if that would be uncertainty or certainty, because that's been something I've been fighting my whole life, is to be prepared and organized. And I think that that's my main thing why I'm not good with like staying on the fitness track, because I've been working out and doing this since I was 16 years old. But my main question is it certainty would be preparation and organization, or is that uncertainty?
I would think preparation organization would be more certainty, but in terms of like what you're feeling, you could be totally both. Like it doesn't have to be one or the other, right? You could be meeting your need for certainty and you could be meeting your need for uncertainty, kind of like at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I like this. This is good. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you for asking questions. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Does anybody else want to unmute and ask questions? Is there anything else you can think of? Carrie said in the chat, I think I have a fear of success. Yeah, that's so good. Many times in my life, I've lost over 100 pounds. After one particular bout of weight loss, I started binge eating. It became very dangerous as I developed bulimia. Unfortunately, I needed counseling to help stop the eat and purging cycle. I'm good now, but I still do binge eat at night, often when alone. Yeah, absolutely. So I think don't close those feelings. I think keep those feelings open and work through them. And anytime that you go to lean on the food, ask yourself why, and like get out your journal and start writing, right? And it's not saying that you can't have food at the same time. You could food while you write, right? Like don't shame yourself for eating. That's not going to help at all here, right? But you have to do something instead. And then if after the journaling you still want to have food, then go for it, right? But if you get out your journal and you just start at that moment, why am I about to eat this food? And then just start fucking writing. And then if you still eat the food afterwards, that's okay. And it might take a few times, right? And it might take multiple times. But that's definitely one tool that I find can be super helpful. Lots of people say, well, drink a glass of water before you go for the food. And I think that that's pretty useless. I think that's just kind of like a delay, like, you know what I mean? Like it might work for a while, but you're not getting to the root of the issue. And in order to get to the root of the issue, we need to know why it's happening. And then in order to know why it's happening, then we need to go from there. And I would work one-on-one with a coach, or I would join the Magnetic Mindset Academy with Coach Casey. And then you could start working through a lot of those things there, because a lot of the things that I would say anyways, would you agree, Mom, that you teach in the Mindset Academy, you can apply to binge eating, and you can apply to working through these issues, because it's very integrated. And now obviously if anybody's at the point where like you're sick or you're dealing with bulimia or anything like that, like Terry mentioned, then that was when I would seek like help in person, where you could really work with somebody and work with a counselor on a regular basis and stuff. But if it's at a point where you feel it's controllable for yourself, then I would start working on your mindset and start working on your belief system, because we as human beings, we cannot stray from our belief system. And so if you have this belief system that says that, you know, you're always going to be overweight, and that's the story that you're constantly saying, then it's really hard to stray from those beliefs. And we always find a way to meet the needs that we have. And these needs that we have are based on this childhood. And that's why I think it's really interesting. What you were saying, Marina, too, is because a lot of us have these memories with food. And so I think a lot of food probably relates to that love and connection, because holidays are like, all family time is like holidays, and all holidays is like a bunch of fucking food, right? And drinks, and then alcohol reminds us of good times with friends and family. And I think that contributes to a lot of people over drinking too, is because it's like, that's just like when the sun comes out, right? How many people can relate to that? The sun comes out and you're like, oh, I definitely feel like I need to crack a beer now. And it's because it's like that relation in your mind of like, the sun's out, you had fun on your friends with the patio, you've done that before, right? Somebody who's never done that before, when the sun comes out, that's not something that they think about, because it's not a memory that they have, right? So yeah.
We're studying pain and pleasure right now in the MMA. And so how that would relate to this is, if you are about to sit down with this big ass pizza, or, you know, everybody goes to bed, and for me, it's out comes the chips and salsa. I will now ask myself, what's the pain associated to this? What's the pain? Because pain and pleasure drive all human behavior. What if I eat all of this? What is the pain that's going to be involved? Okay, I'm going to feel gross. It's not going to help on a weight loss journey. My tummy's going to feel yucky. And then what's the pleasure? Is there pleasure behind it? Well, it's going to be instant pleasure, but it's not going to be long-term pleasure. And sometimes just that, again, when we talk about mastering emotions, you can change your emotions in 90 seconds. And sometimes I can simply just look at the pain and the pleasure of something that I might want to eat that I don't really need to eat, and convince, all of a sudden it's like, why would I eat that? I literally just told myself. It might sound silly. So I've never had the eating issues that Chris has had. I have had a pretty easy life with nutrition, but as silly as this sounds, right now, we discovered that I had, and this is going to sound really stupid, but I heard earlier Terry say something about binge eating healthy foods. I have a problem with avocado. And it's not funny. And you guys can all have a little laugh, because it was funny that day, but I was like, okay, everybody can stop laughing now, because this is actually a fucking problem. And when Brittany and Karissa made me realize, like, I literally decide what can I make to go with avocado for dinner, breakfast, lunch, all the time, right? Here's one of the most powerful foods in the world, the best food for your brain, one of the healthiest foods, but it's not serving me at that extent, right? It goes to say everything in moderation. So I have literally cut avocado. I haven't eaten any avocado in a week. I'm not cutting it. I don't believe in that, but I've eliminated it and I'm making notes on where I really miss it. So when I bring it back, I'm going to know. And you could do that with anything, with your treats, right? If you could just cut it enough to just, where do I really miss it? Okay, I love Tuesday nights because that's the night my husband's not home and I really, then maybe that's your night to have your snacks or your treats, right? So for this, it's really working for me with the avocado issue is I'm recognizing you don't know, you don't taste avocado in a wrap. You just don't. So I just don't ever need to put it back in there, but I really miss it with my eggs in the morning.
Yeah. I remember laughing about this with you a long time ago about the banana, but
Yeah.
it's true. And we had one client who was eating like 3 bananas a day. And I was like, dude, if you just go down to 1 banana a day, that's all you need to do to lose weight. And she was like, no, it's not. Bananas aren't the reason why anybody's overweight. And then I told my mom, I was like, I think that this client just needs to cut out fucking bananas. And my mom was like, bananas are the reason why she's overweight. And this was like a joke for a long time. We're like, bananas don't make anybody overweight. And sure enough, she went down to, actually, she ended up going down to half a banana a day because that's what could fit in her macros because of all the other carbs that she was eating in a day. Guys, did you know banana is almost 30 grams of carbs? A large banana is 30 grams of carbs. That's the same as 2 slices of bread. And we're having it as a side with our bread. And so then we're having 60 grams of carbs with one meal. And we wonder why we're gaining weight because it's like we're having all this healthy food, but really it's still not necessarily fitting together like a perfect puzzle piece. Banana. Banana emoji. Thank you, Marie.
And then I think the association is huge too. Natalie Flimadon-Thomas is my mentor in life coaching. And she was telling a story about a client that she worked with who worked in a chocolate factory, like literally a chocolate factory. And when she moved away and she no longer worked there, she started eating massive chocolate. And she phoned Natalie and she was like, I don't get this. Like, I'm obsessed with chocolate. And through a little bit of a conversation, they realized she wasn't obsessed with chocolate. She was eating chocolate because she missed all the relationships she had at work when she worked at the chocolate factory, right? So we associate so much. Like Karissa, the smell of home cooked, all she ever smelled was home baked goods. So she must really struggle with home baked goods. I'm just kidding. I never baked a fucking cookie in my life.
You're hilarious.
But a lot of people, that will remind you of your mom, like you said, Nana, right? And we do things because it brings back.
Oh, that was so funny. I almost.
I was waiting for you to react and you weren't.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, that is a big one though. And I think that with a lot of people's moms who loved them enough to bake for them, that would be a huge thing though, honestly though. Like, but if your parents loved baking and you always had fresh bread in the house and all of that kind of stuff, like that's going to remind you of childhood and that's going to remind you of warmth and that's going to remind you of happiness. And then your subconscious brain is going to relate eating those things to it even more. So yeah, absolutely. And like Kathy said in the chat, she said, that the family's love language is food and feeding and eating. And so they all do it. Yeah. And it makes it hard when it's your only connection with your family. Yeah, exactly. 100%. Definitely.
Yeah, I had dinner with my mom and my sister last night, and you get a free dinner at Carlos's when it's your birthday. So that's, of course, where we go because that's free. And literally, my mom and I had to have a conversation and an argument because she wanted me to order something that would cost the whole $30 that you're allowed to have up into. Well, I will never eat a full steak meal. I will never eat that, right? And this has been my struggle my whole life with my mom is I don't want that. Why would I don't want mashed potatoes. I'm really actually happy to have a sandwich or a salad, So a lot of what we do as adults really truly does come from the way that we were raised in our childhood. And now we are grown as adults and we're allowed to stop and say,
she does not, your mom, my grandma, she will not let me leave a restaurant without taking my leftovers with me. And now I just have to get them packed up just to toss them in the garbage afterwards. Cause I'm not going to eat leftover French fries. Like that's probably not. Like maybe if you heat them up in the air fryer, they might be all right. But like, I'm not going to go through that. I don't really like leftover fries. It's just not my thing. And so I don't try to take my leftover fries home with me because I'm not missing out on anything. I'm not missing out on any nutrients. The money's already spent. The fries are already made. It's not helping my body out. Like I think we have this misconception of what wasting food means. And it's not eating all of the fries on your plate. That's not waste. That's not taking away from anyone else if you don't finish your fries.
Same with cake. She gets so upset with me when I won't eat my birthday cake. I'm like, I don't like cake. I get it because the kids like to blow out the candles and I think it's part of the tradition, but it doesn't mean I have to eat it.
Yeah.
But that took me a long time to get strong enough to be able to say, no,
I don't want that birthday cake.
my body, my decision. I don't choose to take the calories from that.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah, I'm
class.
setting my grandkids up. I love baking. That's funny, Terry. I think though those things are like they're such good memories, and I also think though they are a good opportunity to teach them about little healthy substitutions, right? Like, and make them taste good. You don't want to make them taste like shit. So for me, when me and the kids bake muffins, I swap out half the sugar for honey, not all of it, because I don't want them to taste completely like honey, but it's a lot better. Half a cup of sugar is way better than 1 cup of sugar, right? And then if you're baking something with sour cream, like there's coffee cakes recipes that have sour cream in them, use Greek yogurt instead, right? Then you're getting some protein in there. So if you can start to teach the girls while baking now about healthy substitutions and like using applesauce instead of oil and like just what oils are better to bake with. So using coconut oil instead of vegetable oil or canola oil, you can swap that in almost any recipe, and I've never noticed a difference in the taste. So if you can, use it as an opportunity to teach them little healthy swaps, and I think that's really cool too, because then they grow up just automatically knowing how to make those swaps in any recipe.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions they can think of or anything that was just really relatable and they want to chat about? Okay, well, I thank you all very, very much for coming, and please don't hesitate to DM me. Like I said, we've got that 4-week challenge coming up, which I think is a great spot for anybody to start who's not already working with a coach. But we do also have more, intimate one-on-one coaching available as well. So if you're more looking for something where it's just, me and you one-on-one working on the binge eating, working on your habits there, then we can do that as well. So don't hesitate to reach out to me, and we can chat about some options. So. And yeah, if you are an elite, then pay your $25 and get into the Aura Ring Challenge because it's going to be so fun. And it's such a good way to keep you guys motivated right before Christmas. Step outside of your comfort zone, motivation right before Christmas. And you guys have a really good chance of winning that Aura Ring by showing up for 30 days. So do it. Okay, everybody, have the best night ever.
Bye.
Bye.
Karissa, check your phone.
Okay. Need to write down who needs a cheat sheet.
Oh, I did. I sent it to you already.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You got all the names?
I'll double check that nobody came in later, but
You're the best. Thank you. Okay. Now I want to recheck before I end the Zoom because otherwise they'll be gone forever.
oh, there is another one. Somebody did
Done,
come in
done.
late. I think I've got it all in the group chat.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay. Night.
Okay, bye.
Bye.